That's right. You've pressed play on All the Right Moves, a limited podcast series from the Director's Chair Network about the filmography of Edgar Wright. This week, a big week, we're talking about my favorite Edgar Wright movie, Scott Pilgrim. And I could not talk about a bass playing dildo without the biggest bass playing dildo that I know. Please welcome producer Chris from WATP to the show. Producer Chris, how are
Thank you.
you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me. What a great intro. What a great film. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and I didn't think that I would react that way about Scott Pilgrim until I rewatched this movie. I've seen this movie many times,
Mhm,
and now that I am sitting down and watching these films with a critical eye,
mhm.
I, I it's been very interesting, and because on the surface they're beloved to me, but then once I sit down and really drill down about what I like and maybe what the shortcomings of these movies are, I'm discovering things that I had not picked up on before. So it's been educational in the most fun and best way.
Sure,
So
sure.
I
I just
guess
want to say, when it comes to shortcomings with this movie, it's not long enough. There's I could watch it and watch it for fucking ever.
oh my
And I didn't full disclosure, my girlfriend at the time, 20 years ago when this came out, or whatever the fuck, what is it, 2002?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I didn't wanna hear any more about how great this was, and you ever have someone that loves a band so much that they almost ruin it for you? That's how this
Oh yeah.
was for me. I went in not wanting to like it, and upon rewatching recently, oh
Mhm.
my god, it is an almost perfect movie, and I don't say that very often.
It is insane how much of a passion project this movie is
Yeah,
for almost everyone involved, including the people that watch it. Yeah,
absolutely. It's about love, and it's made with love, you can tell.
right. And it is a genre blending movie that's on full display. There's so many. It is a video game passion project. It is a
Yeah.
rock and roll passion project. It
Mhm.
is a romance passion project. It is a comic book passion project. It is a callback, like all the tropes of Edgar Wright that we've been talking about with Sean and Hot Fuzz. It is
Yeah.
just, it's jam packed
Right.
with movie making.
Yeah.
To me, am I wrong?
Well, yes, and here's why. No, I'm just kidding. It's fucking like I said, it's an almost perfect film. There's not much more. I think
Yeah.
our review is done,
I
but,
think the only way you could watch this and not adore it is to be like, "Oh, well, I never played video games before,
sure. Yeah, I
so I
never
don't
watched
get that
comic
joke."
book. Yeah, I never watched Batman.
Yeah.
Um,
But
you
let
know,
before we get
go
there's so
ahead.
much to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's so much to say, right? That we should really take it back to roots and start with Spaced, because
Mm,
a segment of every episode is how Spaced informed these bigger productions,
yes.
and it certainly did in this case. So the way that we are chronologically going through the filmography and the episodes of Spaced, this one lands perfectly on the season finale of season 1, which is the episode called Ends.
Mhm.
And at this point, the will they, won't they dynamic between Tim and Daisy is kind of coming to a head as Tim's ex is reaching out to him to get in touch with Tim for some kind of an unknown reason. That's the crux of the plot of the season finale of season 1.
Cera. She wants to see me today.
Wonder what that's all about.
Maybe she wants a CD playback. Maybe she's getting married. Maybe she's pregnant.
And there's a few relevant things to the filmography that I want to bring up. One being that I'm kind of recording these things out of order, Chris. So I have rewatched Last Night in Soho at this point. And when you watch don't pull back the curtain and break the fourth wall too much, but when Daisy is visiting Marcia and Marcia wants Daisy to live at the apartment for the rest of her life and basically become Marcia.
I like having you here. I feel like you've always lived here. I hope you never leave, never leave, never leave, never leave, never leave, never leave.
That is the seed that they plant for what will go on to become Last Night in Soho. So having watched that and watched this, it's because you see that a lot in Spaced, how we've talked about Spaced just being Shaun of the Dead without zombies, and
even with some in at least one particular episode, but go on.
Right. Yeah. I think that's season or episode 3 or something like that. But you see all these things that Edgar is going to pull from the series and eventually use later on, all the way up until his most recent film. So when Daisy is envisioning herself as an old woman trapped in an apartment, it conjures Last Night in Soho to me. Have you seen Last Night in Soho?
I have not.
Yeah, that scene of Daisy envisioning herself in the apartment is very reminiscent of Last Night in Soho. And if you haven't seen it, maybe that doesn't register with you, but it's relevant. And I'm only bringing it up because so much of Spaced is relevant to all of Edgar Wright's movies.
Yep.
And even Tim, in the end of this episode, brings up Soho. I don't know if you remember that part where he's kind of saying he decided that his ex wanted to get back, or his ex wants to get back together with him, and he says no. And he is sort of lamenting the last year of his life, and he brings up Soho. So it's just another call out to something that will bloom into a whole movie eventually, years later, that Edgar loves to cultivate these little tropes from Spaced and expand them out into full movies. You see things that he features in episodes of Spaced that go on to be in Hot Fuzz and go on to be in Shaun of the Dead. So there are definitely those references in the season finale of season 1 of Spaced.
Yes.
What was your takeaway from watching Spaced? You said that you were aware of the episode or the series as a whole, but you were revisiting it, right?
Yeah, back when it was new, I had a friend who wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And I'm so glad that he didn't, because it was so great, and rewatching that episode that you gave me for homework rekindled my love for the show, and it hasn't aged a bit. And I love those characters. I want to hang out with them. I want to be British when I'm watching this. I want to go to a pub. I want to dance with Daisy. I love every fucking thing about it. And yeah, I'm gushing now.
And that's great, because I have been saying that we're very close in age, and this series is of the voice of our generation. Yes, it's a BBC series and in a different country, but it speaks to our generation. And I think that's why we latch onto it so much and enjoy it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. There's roommates involved, video games, you know, pubs,
Mhm.
uh, artsiness, and of course, fucking and alcoholism. I mean, yeah, it's got it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great, and I just can't say enough about the cast and the characters.
Yeah.
And of course, it's award winning. I really don't need to go on and on about it. Everyone knows it's great.
And
And if you've never seen it before and you happen to watch the show, I don't know how you would find this show without having known Spaced.
yeah.
But check it out. It is currently free on Prime, and
Oh,
owning it and watching it in a physical format is a bitch because it's like one of those
yeah.
little region things. Oh.
I know, and I've been pulling clips off of YouTube, and the quality is shitty. So maybe I can. I'm glad you said that it's living on Amazon. So everybody should certainly go check it out if you have not.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up about this specific episode, and there's another thing that I'll call out later, but the end of the episode proper ends with Tim and Daisy dancing to "Is You Is" or "Is You Ain't My Baby," and it's very
poignant.
apropos of their relationship. It's apropos of the time period when swing music was kind of having a moment again, and it spawns what will go on to be a trope of almost every single Edgar Wright movie having some kind of choreographed dance sequence inserted almost like ham-fistedly into everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's lovable. It's a lovable trait of his.
yeah, you're right. That's like the antithesis of the shock value of all of the graphically violent out of nowhere things like in Baby Driver when Jamie Foxx dies, or in Hot Fuzz when the reporter dies. These things just
Spoiler
happen.
alerts.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming people have watched these movies. I've said it before, but that's a trope of his where he kind of like sucker punches you with a graphically violent moment, as opposed to these moments that are these tender-hearted, music theater kind of soft
Yeah,
things. And so he's
absolutely.
running this big spectrum of emotions in
And
almost every movie.
just as an aside, if if anyone gives a fuck, Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, my mentor, my boss, my good friend, we argue about Shaun of the Dead all the time about how, well, he argues how great it could be if it didn't have those other aspects, you know, love interest, any sort of seriousness, the inserted musical numbers, if you will.
He's saying those are shortcomings of it, or
That's what he is, and I'm like, no, it's almost a perfect movie.
oh,
How could you have a problem with it? And he wants a comedy to be a comedy through and through.
mm-mm.
Now he and I side on things like Pineapple Express, where it tries to be too much. But for some reason, the sticky wicket with him is Shaun of the Dead. And if you ever want to bring that up to him, watch him go nuts.
Mm.
Wind him up.
Interesting, because
Yeah.
I feel like I've become a subject matter expert on Shaun of the Dead, so I'll have to have that conversation with Carl
I guess
because
I'm just saying it's interesting that someone would have a different opinion about it having all the elements that you and I at least, really enjoy about the film and
yeah.
Edgar Wright's work in
Yeah,
general.
the Shaun of the Dead episode is available right now. So if you're watching this, you can go watch that. And I will just, in summary, for people that maybe have seen both, or since you probably haven't seen it yet, what makes Shaun of the Dead so memorable is the things that you don't want to remember about it, which are the very emotional death scenes of Philip, the stepdad, and Sean's mom. The sequence when Sean's mom dies and then Sean has to kill his mom is heartbreaking to a degree that it should not be in something that is classified as a comedy. It is so traumatic that it imprints on your brain and makes you remember that movie. It's an impressionable movie in a way that you don't want it to be, from something that you enjoyed so much to
Right.
then just turn around and rip your heart out. So
But Andy, you're assuming that there's some people that don't want to shoot their moms.
yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
So
Bad.
you can
You're bad.
maybe it's beloved for another reason by another cross section of the audience.
Very
Good
select.
point. That's why I'm so glad you're here, Chris. And this is the perfect time to dovetail into Scott Pilgrim versus the World, because we
Here we
are both
go.
bass players, and I just love that we get represented on the screen in such a delightful way as one of the most fucking shitty people to be featured as a main character in a film. Scott Pilgrim is it's hard. He's beloved but it's hard to like him. Kind of.
Sure.
Did you feel like he was hard to like when you were watching the movie?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that becomes ultimately, again, spoiler alert, what the charm
Yeah.
is, because you do love him. I identify with him. I think most people would, in a way, when it comes
To
to
a certain
subject.
degree, yeah.
Yeah, the complex subject of love
Yes.
and
And
clubs and broads and bass playing and bands. I just love the rules about the girlfriend at band practice.
Hi.
You promise to be good?
Of course I'll be good.
Seriously, please be good.
Am I normally not?
Hey, Knives, this is Steven Stills. He's the talent.
Hey. Is she gonna geek out on us?
She'll just sit in the corner, man.
I mean, I want her to geek out on us.
She'll geek. She geeks. She has the capacity to geek.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
very important rule that they don't discuss enough in this film, but please
yeah.
continue.
Yeah. Does she have the capacity to geek out or whatever it is? But this is a unique addition to the filmography because he does Sean and then he does Hot Fuzz, and this is two parts of the Cornetto trilogy that is concluded with World's End. But then you have Scott Pilgrim inserted between all these things as a passion project that is distinctly non-British and doesn't feature Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It doesn't feature what I've been calling the Edgar Wright players, all these people that show up in all these movies. This is set apart from all of that in not even an American way. This is distinctly Canadian.
Not so long ago, in the mysterious land of Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, and it is something that was unique to his debut that I talked about with Ryan, the Fistful of Fingers episode, that most people will cut their teeth in the genre of horror because it's kind of an easy way to see yourself into the industry. Edgar doesn't do that. He goes for a Western, and it is a spaghetti Western spoof that wants to be like Naked Gun and Blazing Saddles put together. But it's just like a non-traditional way to find yourself into the market. And that's kind of what he's doing here with Scott Pilgrim. It's like, I'm not going to do an American action movie. I'm going to do a Canadian video game movie, which is a testament to him doing what he wants to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it kicks off with the the sequence that it's so prominent, it needs to be said that Beck does all of the music for any music that you're hearing in Scott Pilgrim is written by Beck. So they introduce Scott, they introduce his friends. You can tell they all have a history and they're in a band together. And then it kicks off with the very like garage pop kind of like punker stuff written by Beck. Did you have an opinion about how good Sex Bomb is as a band in general?
You know you wanna ride on my garbage truck. We'll pass the mansions by, drive right through the needle's eye. Oh my.
It made me want to start a band listening
Yeah,
or
did it?
rewatching this. Yeah. It brought me back, and I have so much love for that sound and that kind of attitude that our anti-hero maybe
Yeah.
has, and his disdain for the band and everyone within it.
Yeah.
Particularly love the drummer.
Mhm.
And yeah, but I don't want to get ahead of this.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. We're assuming that people have seen the movie, so
Sure.
jumping around and bringing up things that happen later is fine. And it should be said that Kim, the drummer, is an ex of Scott's, and people like Scott's exes hating him the way that Ramona's exes are being vindictive against her is a parallel to these two people. And I guess it should be brought up that the female lead, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ramona Flowers, is also iconic. And I used to romanticize a girl like Ramona Flowers, like thinking that I would like to meet a girl like that. And watching it now in 2025, after seeing it for maybe like the 8th to 10th plus times,
Yeah.
I'm just like, Scott fucking sucks. Ramona fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah.
These two people deserve each other. And it's
Absolutely.
like, but you're still rooting for both of them throughout this,
You
right?
kind of have to because it's so fucking entertaining.
Yeah. But I was just like, God, what is wrong with the fucking wigs in this? Like, Scott's hair fucking sucks on purpose. I mean, it's kind of a running gag in the movie that he needs
Oh,
a
yeah.
haircut and he looks like shit. But the
Right.
Ramona wig is like, in Saw, the girl that's in Saw 1 and Saw 2, that's Jigsaw's protege. I think it was on Once Over. Her friend, Kaylee's friend Cookie, brings up how shitty that girl's wig is in the series, and that is what I was reminded of looking at Ramona's hair. It's just like it makes this lovely woman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, just look shitty.
Yes.
But that's just my opinion. And after a decade of watching this movie, I was like, that wig did not age well. But
Fair enough, but the best hair gag in the movie is when Knives gets her highlights punched out.
yeah,
You punched the highlights out of her hair.
He punched the highlights out of her hair.
yeah, that's the Brendan Routh Clash at Demon Head scene when the bass play. Oh God, we'll get to that too. But yeah, that needs to be called out. That is a great hair gag. But this movie in general, like we were saying, this blends so many tropes or genres between video games, and then you have Knives Chow, who you said is Scott's rebound girl, who is borderline a problem in the movie. He's dating a high schooler, and everybody's like, you're being a creep, dude. Why are you a creep? And he's content to play video games and hold hands with a minor. It's It's kind of disturbing, no?
Well, yes, but when you're much younger, perhaps Scott's age, he's what,
Yeah,
21 in the film, I believe.
right.
Um, yeah, it makes a little bit more sense, but yeah.
Yeah. It is weird how the older you get, it makes less of a difference to date somebody 6 to 7 years your junior, but when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
younger,
Trust me, it
it's a
helps.
lifetime, right? Yeah, it's
Wait till you're 53, asshole.
yeah.
Oh,
I
wait,
can't
you're
wait
married.
Yeah, I can't wait to date a woman 7 years younger than me. But, so I do think Knives Chow is like they have
Is
to insert this unrealistic thing that he should not be doing or is not realistic to
Sure.
his future.
He's on the rebound, he's
Yeah.
depressed, he's eating a whole package of Oreos in this romantic way, but he's not into it.
Yeah.
Does that sum it up?
Right.
Okay.
And I think in the long term he knows that it's not going to work out, but he's still
Oh, in the
this
short
is
term, yeah.
right. And this is just spotlighting the immature point of view that Scott has, which is the beginning of his character arc to maturing out of being a asshole partner for anybody that he has a romantic entanglement with.
Sure.
It's just like him being the worst version of a boyfriend, and then the whole rest of the movie is him realizing how to grow up and mature and become take his love life a little more seriously, I guess, is the theme and plot of the movie, right?
Yeah, he meets the female equivalent of him,
Yeah.
and it's a coming of age kind of thing, but super hip and very stylized, and we love every fucking second of it. Thank God
Mhm.
there's a little bit of downtime in some of these sequences because you need a break, a little bit, an old fart like me.
Yeah.
Uh, but so amazingly paced and put together. But yes, at the core of it, this is about say an asshole like producer Chris meeting an asshole like producer Chris.
Yeah. You dating yourself?
Yeah, and you're like, oh
Nega
wow,
Nega Chris.
I guess I deserve this.
Yeah. And the other thing that needs to be stated is the pump up from Shaun of the Dead arriving and setting the world on fire and it being basically beloved and arguably the best movie, like his first feature film being arguably his best, and then taking that, pouring financial backing and big studio and star power onto Hot Fuzz and plussing that up and making that bigger and better and even more successful, and a lot of people that's beloved to a lot of people. A lot of people hold Hot Fuzz up as their favorite Edgar Wright movie. Now, let's
No one holds
take
the third one up.
World's End. That's a different story.
Maybe not that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go back to Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. But now we arrive here at Scott Pilgrim, complete departure from Shaun and Hot Fuzz, which maybe seemed like, holding like sister projects, holding hands, just both two great things with different genres. Now we get Scott, and Simon Pegg's not involved because a lot of things that we've been talking about with what makes Spaced good, what makes Shaun good, what makes Hot Fuzz good, a lot of it is Simon Pegg's writing.
Yes.
So when you take that away, I don't think I really realized this until this series, rewatching all of these movies, how much Simon Pegg made a difference to these other projects. I in a way, I'm just like, oh, this is all Edgar Wright just being great. But Simon Pegg is a very intricate in the success of Sean and Hot Fuzz and those other
Absolutely.
things
Yeah.
but because of the strength of Scott Pilgrim, I didn't realize this until much later because Simon Pegg's not involved in this, but the writing of Brian Lee O'Malley, who is the comic book writer for the Scott Pilgrim comics, so much of the dialogue is just put right into this. But there is another screenwriter and Edgar, they have their hands in making Scott Pilgrim a great movie. But I just want to point out that it's going to become more apparent in the later episodes that like Baby Driver and Last Night in Soho and the people that are involved in the writing or not involved in the writing, it's what made me realize how key Simon Pegg is to Sean and Hot Fuzz.
Sure.
And for this to be the next movie and my favorite and Simon Pegg not being involved, that's why I was just like, oh, Edgar Wright's just brilliant. But it's probably more to the credit of Brian Lee O'Malley, who is the comic writer, is what keeps this afloat with the absence of Simon Pegg. And then you get all this cameo star power thrown in on top of that includes Anna Kendrick. Kieran Culkin obviously is key and goes on to be way more successful. But then you have Aubrey Plaza,
yeah, absolutely.
Brie Larson, Brendan Routh, Tom Jane, and Clifton Collins Jr. and Martin Starr. A lot of people just making these cameos that back then maybe they weren't as big as they are now. But like when you go back and you'll be like, oh shit, Aubrey Plaza and Anna Kendrick are in bit parts in this. It's pretty incredible to know that because like in Hot Fuzz, people were clamoring to be part of that movie. You had Cate Blanchett and Peter Jackson making uncredited cameos. You had Steve Coogan and Martin Freeman. Just everybody wanting to be in this. Stephen Merchant has a bit part just because they wanted to be in the Edgar Wright business. So now he takes it to the States and you get all these cameos from big players. So it's star-studded, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would call it distracting, but it's a distracting movie to begin with.
Yeah.
But Aubrey Plaza, I particularly love every scene that she chews up. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, she's great addition. And
I actually thought I should put some drops of her on the WATP board
from this movie
after rewatching it.
Yeah. There's just so many great moments. I mean, we can't even begin to go over the joke density that is packed into this. There is so many references. The pee meter, like when he's like, I gotta pee. Everything. Anytime he needs to get out of doing something he doesn't want to do, it's an excuse to go pee. And then they have the video game meter that goes down, which is such a great gag. And the jokes and the sardonic just melee, like I don't want to be here. I'm too cool to be here and I don't want to deal with my life. And it's just a vibe, which I hate saying. It has like this tone and voice that is so appropriate for when it came out, which is, indie rock.
Garage rock was making a comeback.
Yeah.
The White Stripes were hitting their stride.
Mhm.
Well, no, probably 3 years into their stride.
Okay.
And just really paving the way for a lot of the bands that you and I probably cut our teeth on when we were, well, it was 20 years ago, when we were 20 years younger.
Right. But there's a lot of ennui from the people, just the main characters, just pretending that they're too cool to care about their actual emotions. And
Yes, absolutely.
but it all comes to a head when Ramona and Scott do finally get together. So Scott, it's integral that he cheats on, not cheats, but he doesn't break up with Knives in a timely manner when he realizes that he'd rather be with Ramona and he shouldn't. Everybody knows he shouldn't be with Knives, but he doesn't handle it properly, and that becomes relevant at the end. And from there, obviously, the litany of the 7 evil exes trying to keep Scott and Ramona apart is the whole plot of the movie, and it plays out like a video game, which anybody that grew up with Street Fighter and Tekken is so much fun. It just makes this movie.
If you've ever kicked someone's ass in a club and they turn into coins, this movie's for you.
Yeah. What if my love life was a video game and I could beat the shit out of all of my...
I don't want to play that game.
Yeah. Leisure Suit Larry, is that your...
The quarter I put on top of the machine, I'm like, yeah, it's yours, kid.
Yeah. So it just takes it in this direction that it is so much fun to basically weaponize your dating life. And
yes.
It's miserable for Scott because he's trying to dodge his ex that he never should have been with.
Yeah.
He is navigating, all of his past relationships with like Kim and Envy, that is one of his ex and one of Ramona's exes, the Clash at Demon Head scene. So it's all about...
If I may.
Yeah, please.
You talk about it being miserable for him. Everything is filmed in the snow. It's Canadian. And it really brings me back to you and I, Andy, our local rock bar, the Bug Jar. It seemed like so much drama when I was in my 20s and in bands, playing there constantly, trying to start things up, whether it be fucking abroad or getting some drugs or actually playing in a band and learning my instrument.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to be in the winter, and it's great that everything plays out in the winter here because it really adds to the misery of our hero.
That is a great point that I had not considered. The fact that it is the winter of their discontent.
Yeah.
To put it in a more literal way.
Cold comes into play a lot in this movie. The whole, well, if your blanket's on the bed, shouldn't we just be in bed and share the blanket? That's a good line, man. Yeah, I still use that one. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So
no, that I am glad you did, because there is so much thematic elements and thought that goes into a lot of Edgar's previous movies that we've talked about, and it's just on full display here with the layers of themes and references and how well thought out it is. I can't even articulate. I am not in a position to articulate how much thought went into the creation of this, but the fact that the winter element would be conceived with purpose, because this would be a different movie in summertime, right?
Lee's Palace in the winter to see Tortoise in the late 90s, and it's fucking brutal. Just get out. But Lee's Palace was great.
Right, but it would be a different movie if it was in the summertime.
Oh, absolutely.
So it is relevant to bring up. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, at the end of the second act, I believe, Scott is bonking his head against the telephone pole.
Yeah,
and it's bleak, and the snow's coming down. That spells it out to me. That is misery. And that's the low that the hero has to come to in order to rise again.
Yeah. And it's highlighted with the onomatopoeia of the comic.
Love it.
Like blending all of these different elements of comics and romance and video games just perfectly together. And God, I really could talk about this movie for
Do you want to
3 hours.
dude?
I
I'm on my
used
way over. Let's just watch it, okay?
Oh, let's just watch it and go
We'll
through it
cuddle.
minute by minute and say everything that's so great about it.
Yeah.
And there's so many of even just Edgar's tropes of the quick cut montage things of like menial tasks, that the best one is where he does the anti-cut when Scott ties his shoe.
Yes.
He grinds to a
I'm
halt.
so glad you brought that up because I took no notes, but I made a mental note about how much I fucking love that moment.
Yeah, because it's on full display in Hot Fuzz. There's just like relentless cuts of like guns being loaded and paperwork being done. Like it's making paperwork
He's being
seem
brushed.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of
And then
Shaun of the Dead. Sorry.
Yeah, but you get like all of these fantastic edits of a person walking across the screen, and it takes it to a different scene, or something happened. This thing blows across the screen, and suddenly you're in a different location. And it's something that Edgar does so masterfully throughout, especially in like Last Night in Soho, when the two characters are it's supposed to be the same person and you're seeing it in two different ways, but this just does it to such a high degree of success throughout this movie. And I just can't stress enough how this is the pin. It doesn't get better after this movie, which is like, as I'm looking forward to the Running Man coming out, and hoping that it's going to be a return to form. This is the form that I'm hoping it's going to return to, because after this, when you get to like World's End and Baby Driver, and Last Night in Soho, they're not hitting this benchmark of just they've shoehorned so much awesomeness into this movie that it's an impossible standard to replicate production wise.
Yeah. That is the crux of the biscuit here.
Yeah.
The
Animation, the visual effects, it's got special effects, it's got choreography. The fight choreography is fantastic. They have a Jackie Chan protege choreographing all of these fight sequences that, while I was watching it, it's just like, oh, this reminds me of Rumble in the Bronx or something. Turns out it's a guy that worked on Rumble in the Bronx.
It's pretty much Rumble in the Bronx, yeah. And just when you think Michael Cera's performance is wooden, you watch that, and of course you know that his performance is wooden by design. That's the character. That's who we were at 21.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
I think
I couldn't fight like that at 21.
Yeah,
so many enemies too.
I don't think Michael Cera could either. But yes, you get like every evil acts has their own kind of trope. So the first guy, Maddie, is a pirate / like Middle Eastern guy. And I also want to point out, this is a good time to point out that the other connection to Spaced is these 2D comic booky flashbacks of Ramona's previous relationships, where she explains why she was with those guys, and it does a little comic book sequence in I think it's episode 4 of season 2. Daisy does that in one of the Spaced episodes. So it's just another long running gag that Edgar loves to take from his love of making Spaced. He had so much fun making Spaced that he just takes all these things that he liked about making that and puts them into his feature films. And that's one that's on display in Scott Pilgrim. So I wanted to make sure to bring that up.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
the vibe of each X is so specific and fun that I haven't been like going plot beat for beat through these movies,
That's
but
fine. That's boring, Andy.
it is boring, but
Yeah.
it's just cool to point out that Chris Evans shows up as the movie star skateboarder, and the
Yeah.
way that Scott foils him is, it's all like unconventional fight. Yes, you get the choreographed fight sequences, but then the way that he defeats Chris Evans is unique.
It's called a grind, bro.
So can you do a grindy thingy now?
Are you serious?
There are like 200 steps and the rails are garbage.
Well, hey, if it's too hardcore.
You really think you can goad me into doing a trick like that?
There are girls watching.
The way that he defeats Brandon Routh with the bass battle thing and the
Yeah.
veganism. I mean, that's
Also,
why I had to.
Hey, as a bass player, I want to say that's not bass playing. That's guitar playing on a bass. Fuck that. But a great
Yeah.
sequence. And just in case you're tuning in for some random reason and you haven't seen this film, the way that he defeats what's his lips, Chris Evans,
Yeah.
the skateboard, it's just phenomenal. And you would think, like, when you look at the running time, like, oh, this is too much for this for me. No, it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
chef's kiss perfect.
It's just so it all comes down to him going, there's girls watching.
Yeah, right.
Like
And
he just plays into his ego to the point where he beats himself.
again,
Chris Evans.
bringing me back to playing in clubs and just being a horny dude and that being so fucking important.
Yeah.
Girls are watching.
Yeah. But
It actually still is. Who am I kidding?
but that really does speak to Brian Lee O'Malley, the writer of the comic series, and how brilliant he was. That putting somebody's ego on the line is what defeats that X. Putting the veganism, like the pompous, holier than thou, challenging Brandon Routh's, the bass player of the Clash of Demon Heads character, challenging his dedication to veganism is what defeats that guy,
Yeah, it was cool. That was the long play, but when we got there, it was great.
Yeah.
And
I thought I put the creamer in this cup in my mind's eye or whatever.
Dude, I can see in your mind's eye that you put half and half into one of those coffees in an attempt to make me break vegan edge. I'll take the one with soy. Thanks, Tool.
Actually, muchacho, I poured the soy in this cup, but I thought real hard about pouring it in that cup. In my mind's eye or whatever.
What are you talking about?
You just drank half and half, baby.
That's just the way he says it.
I thought about it so hard.
Yeah. And my other favorite line, I don't want to forget to bring up, is when he's talking to Anna Kendrick, who is Scott's sister in the film, about why he is so desperate to keep things on track with Ramona. And she's like, do you see a future with this girl? And Scott's answer is,
This jetpacks.
yeah.
But you bring up ego, and at the core of this movie is that very thing. It's like, yeah, you can say, oh, I had this girl. I'm the ex. Yeah, but that girl can tell everyone about how shitty you were in bed or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't think about that all the time. And this brings it home. It's like, it really puts well, I would say at the time, genders on the same level, in a way. It's like, it's a dating movie. It's like not something that I would ever seek out in I mean, you don't go to Blockbuster anymore to look at dating movies or
You
rom-coms.
old fuck. You
Yeah,
old fuck.
right. It's but watching it really brought me back to like how important some of these things were, but really it's still relevant in
Mhm.
how people work with each other, how relationships are.
That's a very good point to make, and it's not something that I had in my notes, so I'm glad you bring it up. But we did talk about in Shaun of the Dead how if you take the zombie apocalypse out of the movie, you still have a decent rom-com between Shaun and Liz and David and Diane. And if that was just the movie about their dynamic and their relationship and David trying to get in between Shaun and Liz, you could still have a watchable movie. It wouldn't be as fun and beloved and iconic as Shaun of the Dead, but it would still be a romantic comedy.
And
And
relatively realistic.
yeah, and if you take all of the video game and rock and roll out of Scott, you probably would still have a relevant romantic comedy with you know um,
Yeah.
Scott and Ramona. And I can't not state how much I love Kieran Culkin's character in this, especially when the scene when he comes in drunk and he slaps the keys and hits Scott in the face with his car keys, and guess who's drunk?
Guess who's drunk?
I guess Wallace.
You guessed right.
I just fucking love his character and how he is running around telling everybody how shitty Scott is. He's telling Knives Scott sucks. He's telling Ramona Scott sucks, and he's right.
Absolutely. And I had a roommate like that, and I had a Knives like that, and I was the
You're
bad
Scott.
guy.
You are Scott Pilgrim.
I am a recovering Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. So you can relate. It's a very relatable movie, especially for a bass player.
Yeah, if you play bass and go through a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah. Yeah. So
No, it's so amazing. Again, everyone has seen this, but if you haven't, rush the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know why you're watching.
Go to Blockbuster and get the VHS.
Yeah. And then go play Double Dragon on your 8-bit Nintendo.
I just might later.
And I like how Bryan, the writer, is leaning into the fact of when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Because Ramona is telling Scott that it's going to be hard to be with her. Scott is telling Knives. They're kind of pretty upfront with how shitty they are, but everybody wants to believe that things are going to work out, even if somebody like who goes on to come into the movie so much later, Jason Schwartzman's
the big boss.
Yeah, the big bad. He shows up so much later, but Ramona knows that he sucks and she still wants to be with him. Ramona keeps telling Scott that she sucks, and Scott still is trying to be with her. And we don't want to hear the truth once we get it in our head that this person is the one for us. And
maybe you've been married too long. It's thinking with your genitalia. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I just love all of the nuance of the way that Scott gets together with Ramona when he sees her running through his mind. They're at the party and he tries all the things that worked with Knives on Ramona and it doesn't work on her.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing.
Hey, you know Pac-Man?
I know of him.
Well, Pac-Man was originally called Puck-Man. They changed it because not because Pac-Man looks like a hockey puck. Paku means flap your mouth, and that they were worried people would scratch out the P, turn it into an F, like.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
And then he orders the package, and he won't let her leave. She's like, if you sign it, I can leave. And he's like, well, I'm not going to sign it unless you agree to go out with me. It's such a toxic way to shoehorn yourself into this woman's life.
But effective, Andy. That's the thing you're missing here.
Yeah. And there's just like so many realistic tropes that make these characters three-dimensional, and all the way down to the things that they like and don't like, and the way that they their shortcomings, people having flaws humanizes them to the audience, and these characters are nothing but flaws. In a lot of ways, Scott is, like you said, an anti-hero. He's not a likable person. He's charming, but in a lot of ways,
he's a coward.
You're not rooting for him, right? Yeah, he's a coward. He's
a reluctant hero.
Yeah, and Ramona.
It turns out he can kick ass. I mean,
yeah, I know. That's the one thing he's good at is fighting. He's not a good bass player.
No. If we didn't point that out enough, he sucks at the bass. He can't even take care of it. It's all duct taped together.
Yeah, I know. I got my Rick on display back there.
Yeah.
And I think that between Lemmy and Scott Pilgrim is probably the reason why I wanted a Rickenbacker so bad. But
that's funny because I gave you the sticker of Spaced that I made you, and Simon Pegg's wearing the Motorhead T-shirt. Now he never mentions Motorhead in the show, or liking metal or proto metal or whatever you want to call it, but I found that interesting.
Yeah, and that guitar, that's what Young Neil's playing at the end when they sell out and they had and Sex Bomb has their glow up. That's the bass that Young Neil is playing when he replaces
Young
Scott.
Neil.
Another great character. And I love the music so much too. I don't want to forget to bring up how
let's talk about what do you hate about this movie?
What do I hate about it? I hate the wigs.
No, you don't.
I hate the main characters. They both suck. They're just, I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a beautiful woman, but just trying to be in a relationship with that person it seems so exhausting. Scott, it's just like, why would anybody want to be with this guy? I really don't get the appeal of Scott Pilgrim. Like, why do all these girls like him so much? Is Michael Cera's Scott Pilgrim? I think that was a big question mark for a lot of people that were fans of the comic. If I'm remembering properly, when this was coming out brand new, that people thought that casting Michael Cera as Scott Pilgrim was a miscast. Do you feel that way? Do you think he's a good representation? Are you aware of the comic book at all?
Comic book? No, yeah, I am. And it's one of those things, having seen it, you can't unsee it. I don't know who else I would cast as. It's actually perfect from the time, if you think about it.
Coming off the heels of like Superbad, he kind of had a lot of, and Arrested Development.
Yeah, I was going to say Arrested Development. He was that clueless yet kind of clever guy. He knew about stuff, but didn't want to ever be accused of knowing about stuff. I mean, that's how I get through life. So
yeah. When Scott dumps knives, it's kind of one of these emotionally awkward things that Edgar and the writing of the movie nail so well.
Absolutely.
That vibe of what you don't want to have to deal with when you dump somebody, and everybody's just like, why can't I just text? Why can't I just like leave a voicemail or text? Because you don't want to see the look on Knives' face when Scott dumps her and she's so sad. It's
Yeah.
so awkward. And
Yes.
that just encapsulates the breakup process perfectly in 2
Absolutely.
minutes.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of forgot about the heavier and albeit brief but heavy portions of the film. And that's one
Mhm.
of them. And it definitely captures that feeling,
Right.
brings it home, yet in a comic book way, but still showing those frames, her reaction, him dealing and moving on, rebounding when she
Yeah.
was the rebound. Yeah, I get it, and I've been the heel. I continue to be the heel. It sucks.
Yeah.
I'll never learn.
And I love the character of Knives so much. You get so emotionally invested in her journey,
Yeah.
and she's so joyful when they're together and she's happy, and you love seeing that she's happy, and then when it's taken away from her, you feel for her in that regard, and then when she's pissed and she's doing the whole hair dyeing sequence when she's got her head in the tub and she's just
Yeah, it's
screaming and
great.
your friend is like, I don't even know what you just said. You can't
Yeah.
understand her.
Hey, this really burns. You should rinse.
When I got this idea, I just thought, I have to do it!
I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh, God. I look so good.
Because she's just flying off the handle. She is just one of the best performances in the movie. One of the most likable, good people in the movie. When you're talking about how unlikable the main characters are,
Yeah.
Knives is the best. And then you get to the end, and she's still helping these two people that suck and have been nothing but shitty to her. She still shows up for them at the end. And then
Correct.
lets them go off and be shitty together at the end.
Yes. And in that same vein, the gay roommate, I can't remember the character's name. He turns out to be very much like that. Like, I've been trying to help you all along. It just seems like I'm mean and
Yeah.
selfish. And it turns out I am mean and selfish, but I am also helping you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. These characters, everybody around them is trying to help them, whether it's Anna Kendrick or Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
All these people that are seemingly
The bandmates, yeah, we may sell out, but it was in
Yeah.
your best interest.
right. Lucas is the only one that is maybe more self-centered than Scott because he's the lead singer, guitar player, and he only cares about himself and getting a deal, and that's the only thing that matters to him. It doesn't whatever Scott's up to is
Singers
irrelevant.
suck. Isotopes.com.
Yeah, this does suffer from that dynamic. When it gets to the third act, you're like, oh, they've only fought 3 out of 7 X's significantly, and then it just kind of speed runs and it jams the 2 of them are twins, and it just really runs past a bunch of the X's. But I do like the kaiju fight of the ape
twins.
versus the 2-headed dragon with the twins,
Absolutely.
which is the theme song of this podcast series. Features the music from that sequence because I enjoy that so much. But I love the garbage man, the garbage truck song, and there's a couple of good songs in this. I mean, they're not all great, but
Oh,
they
no.
have the Ramona theme, and
I wrote a song about you.
You did?
Yeah, it goes like this.
Can't wait to hear it when it's finished.
Finished?
and
Yes.
Beck does a great job with the music. So
Yeah, they bring back the Ramona theme, and it's a tearjerker. You know.
yeah, right, and it's featured at the end as well, right? I think.
Yes.
But I also want to talk about Brie Larson's involvement. That whole sequence with the bass battle is so funny to me. Just how shitty Scott is at the bass, and just the fact the solo cups blowing around while it's just this tornado of shitty bass solos, and
Those are the details that make this movie so great.
yeah,
And you
it
don't
makes
have to be in a band, but it helps.
yeah, and it takes everything, the tech, the video game vibe, the rock and roll vibe, the lovelorn, shitty attitude towards your ex and the new boyfriend, and all of these things kind of coalesce into this fantastic sequence of a terrible idea of having people do bass solos against each other. And it's really why I wanted you on this episode, because as two bass players, I found it so joyful for somebody to even conceive that would be a scene in a comic or a movie.
At the end of the day, this whole thing made me question what kind of relationships Edgar Wright has had, how
Mhm.
comic booky they have been. But if it's anything like this film, they're relatable.
Yeah. I think that's the strength of this movie, and the strength of the comic. And I give so much credit to Brian O'Malley for making it relatable and something that everybody at one point in their life has felt the way that Scott feels towards his relationships. So yeah, that is what makes this movie so great. And let me see. I'm looking at my notes. I see bass battle. Scott sucks. Vegan police.
Producer Chris sucks.
Yeah. Bass players suck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then Scott starts to get overwhelmed with how much baggage Ramona has, and she says, "You're just another evil ex waiting to happen
Yes.
because you can't deal with my history and my track record." And it's kind of something that she's been running from. She left New York to come to Toronto to get away from all this, and it just follows her around, and it's just a never-ending cycle of the way that she treats the men in her life. It's not just Scott that is shitty to him and
It's all
Knives.
bass players.
It's people it's immature people in relationships, which is more of the bigger picture message of what this movie is about, and how you treat people, it can come back to haunt you. So, and it's not just Scott, it's also Ramona. And then you get to the end where she is seemingly leaving Scott for Jason Schwartzman's G-Man, who is a record exec who seemingly has it all figured out. He's giving Sex Bob-omb a record contract. He's taking Scott's girl away from him, and she's I don't know. I guess a lot of people have this toxic person in their past there, where Ramona says that he has a way into her head, and she can't figure out what she likes about a person who's seemingly so shitty to them. And I think that's very relatable too. It's you don't know why somebody that doesn't hold your feelings sacred or like precious, why that something that would make you feel shitty, you still run back to.
And how does that make you feel, Andy?
It's making me upset, Chris. I'm very
Well, I'm sorry, our time is up, so you'll get my bill in the mail.
Yeah. Luckily, I met somebody who does, but people that you think that they're the person for you until you realize that they're treating you like shit. You know, it's a very hard thing to figure out in the romantic realm. Is my point.
Yes.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah. Remove the record contract, and yes, I've had this adversarial, relationship with the exes of the present girlfriend, and the going nowhereness of the present girlfriend.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that they used the Rolling Stones Under My Thumb.
Yes,
with the way they used Dire Straits, Romeo and Juliet, and Hot Fuzz when the people that were doing that stage production get killed, and then Timothy Dalton's Skinner character rolls up, and they've just been throwing it in your face that this is the bad guy, and then he rolls up listening to Dire Straits, Romeo and Juliet, and in Scott Pilgrim, Jason Schwartzman Z-Man is playing Under My Thumb while he steals Scott Pilgrim's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sweetie, shall we?
And it's a very Edgar Wright thing to feature.
Absolutely, it's comic book, but it still makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a comeuppance, but you also had to feel those feels for that feeling time.
Yep. So then we finally have the parallel conflict that Ramona has with Gideon, G-Man, Jason Schwartzman's character, and Knives and Scott. It's like Scott's been treating Knives like shit the whole time, and Gideon's been treating Ramona like shit the whole time, and now they are all going to have a kung fu blazing sword fight about trying to figure out who should be with who in the best way possible. It's so fucking fantastic. I really love the finale and how just hipster douchey Jason Schwartzman is when he's talking about you made me swallow my gum. It's gonna be
he's never been afraid to play this character. I love him for this. God.
Dude, I fucking love Rushmore so much. It's such a great movie. And I love Jason Schwartzman and Bored to Death. If you're not aware of the HBO series Bored to Death and you have any kind of love in your heart for Jason Schwartzman, go watch Bored to Death with Sam Malone. What's his name? And Zach Galifianakis.
Ted Danson, you fucking asshole.
Thank you.
Sam Malone. Yeah, good place guy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Commercials.
Great show is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But this finale fight, and then just when you think it's all over, which is this is the best version of something I hate so much, Chris, which is when a hero has to fight a villain that is just the evil version of the hero.
Yeah.
That they've done so many times since Iron Man 2 and Black Panther and so many, even up to the new Superman, where you find out that, and spoilers, Superman is fighting a evil version of Super. I fucking hate it. It's so fucking lazy. So for you to get to the end of this and the Nega Scott to come out and you're like, oh shit, how is he gonna, after he's gone through all of this, how is he gonna fight a villain that's just as big and strong of a douche as real Scott Pilgrim? And then they just come, it's just thrown away in the funniest way, and they come out and they're just buddy, and they're gonna go to brunch together. And he's just like, he's actually a really cool guy.
He's just a really nice guy. We're gonna get brunch next week.
Yes.
I just love that they just squash that because I hate that shit.
It is a
So
trope that blows.
yeah, it's so lazy. That and if you kill the head vampire, all the vampires die. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's not how it works?
Oh, it's definitely how it works. I can say for sure with all of my vampire killing history. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim. I could go on all day about. I really could just put this on and talk about it scene for scene, but that's not what this is about, Chris. What it really is all about is The Running Man coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I really want to know what your opinions are of the original Running Man and what is your awareness of the new, maybe the novel and the new movie that's coming out. What are your thoughts on The Running Man?
Okay, I'll make this brief. Read the novella?
That's a novel. It's a Richard Bachman.
Sure. It's a
name.
short story.
It's a full novel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I read it when I was like 14 and
Okay.
liked it.
You did like it.
May have jerked off at one point.
I don't remember that.
Who the fuck knows? I was jerking off a lot then. And
I haven't heard that feedback yet. So good on you for bringing a unique perspective to the book.
Movie is great. Loved Richard Dawson in it. I don't think that role can be surpassed, and looking forward to this. And but I think we should put a poll out there, like, name a better all-encompassing, entertaining movie that's better than Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, that
coming into this, I want to say Amelie would be one of my favorites when it comes to It's Got It All.
Is that right? I've never seen that, and
okay.
I'm that is. I would never suspect that you would say that. That makes me want to go watch it because I haven't seen that. But say more about that. What do you mean? What makes you say that that's such a great movie?
Scott Pilgrim moves me, and I wanted to make sure on this rewatching because I hadn't seen it since it was new, and it does have it all. It's mostly laughs. There is no shortage of jokes, but it's got the stylization. I mean, it is watching a graphic novel. It is so fucking great and gripping. And like I said, it's great that there's a little bit of downtime just so you can catch your breath. But yeah, maybe it just captures something that's personal to me, being in bands and trudging around in your chucks in the winter and shit like that.
Yeah. I was more interested in why you would say Amelie. Like
because whenever I'm meeting someone talking about films, we usually talk about what's got it all, and Amelie has it all to me. But I think this might actually surpass that.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that now.
And they came out at the same time. So
is it subtitles? Is it French, or is it? Yeah, oui. Okay, maybe that's why I haven't seen it, but I am going to go out of my way to see that now. But I do think that this is the time to mention, because I did the episode of Baby Driver before we recorded this, and I did a deep dive into the writing of the movies based on the weakness of the writing of Baby Driver. So this is why I brought up in the beginning that Sean and Hot Fuzz are so strong based on the writing of Simon Pegg.
Yes.
And Baby Driver is so weak because Edgar did that solo with no writing partner, and I don't think that Baby is a very well-rounded, not to spoil the Baby Driver episode, but it's a weak character development movie. Now, Scott was written by obviously Bryan Lee O'Malley, and that's the strength of the character development for these characters, but the person that co-wrote this with Edgar is also the co-writer that wrote The Running Man. So that gives me a lot of hope for The Running Man. I think the guy's name is Michael Bacall or something. I'm an asshole for not knowing. I'll splash it on the screen. The proper credit for not calling him out properly now.
You can edit that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'll edit it in. And he was in like Inglourious Bastards, and he has like some acting credits too. But he was the co-writer on Scott. So the fact that I love Scott so much, and that this guy is co-writing Running Man, gives me a lot of hope for The Running Man. So I'm looking forward to it even more now, knowing that based on the strength of Scott Pilgrim. So
And I'll be seeing that live with you in the theater and with Kaylee.
Yes, the plan is for everybody that participated in this series reviewing these films will hopefully go see The Running Man when that gets released, and where we'll do a review of The Running Man, and everybody that had a chance to talk about Edgar Wright will get to weigh in on how great The Running Man. I'm getting all of my hopes up, Chris, that The Running Man is going to be fantastic, because I love Edgar Wright and I love the original Running Man, and I think that it is going to be good. So let's keep talking about it. So I want to thank you for talking about Scott Pilgrim with me. I really feel like we could go on and on about it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Do another hour on the stoop.
Yeah. Yes, I know. The walkover. Is there anything you would like to plug at this time, Chris?
Just check out me and Carl at whoarethese.com, and you get all the information you need.
Yeah. Yep. We wouldn't be here without Who Are These Podcasts and Carl Hamburger. So please check that out if you want to see more of producer Chris. And if you are thinking about missing next week's episode of All the Right Moves,
Don't.